What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today's video we are jumping into our next episode of the How to Paint series we are making for Monster Fight Club's Borderlands. It's been a couple days since we actually did one of these, and it's because we had some audio issues. I did kind of fix that with getting a Blue Yeti, a very nice mic that is doing pretty good on the channel. I think it's helping us out a lot. But today we're doing our next batch of Marauders, and these are basically the same model, but they are just in a different position. So we should have an easy way to go about this, because I could just follow the original Marauder and basically get the same kind of paint job, just a different pose. So let's go ahead and start painting. Okay, so first things first, we are going to take our model, put it on here. We are going to reference our last Marauder model that we did, and this will just make it easier because we can follow something that's physical right in front of you all the way around, and they're basically the same model, just a different pose. So since there's no skin tone, we are going to take the model and we're going to start with the jacket area with a gray blue, just like we did our last one. And we're going to hit the jacket area on all of the models and just avoiding all of the non-blue areas, which would be like leathers and metallic stuff like that. So let's go ahead, get that gray blue on, and then we can move on to our next color. We are going to follow that up with a vampire flesh as the khakis for the pants. So as you can see on this one, we got khakis colored up, and of course you want to avoid any leather spots, of course, and belts, stuff like that. So once we get that on there, we can move on to our next color. Okay, so the next part we are going to take a leather brown, and we are going to hit all the leather spots, and that would include his belts and straps, stuff like that. His arm guard, I think, is also brown. Yes, also brown. And his strap around his jacket area. That is all of the browns. So let's go ahead and get this leather brown on, and we can move on to our next color. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we have our leathers on there. We're going to work on our grays. We're going to work on two different grays. One is going to be a basalt gray. The basalt gray is going to go on the shoulder pad here, the gun, the different buckles and stuff like that. And then we're going to use a warm gray, and the warm gray is going to go on the boots. Okay, later on we're going to dust these with a metallic before we get into our shades, but let's go ahead and get our grays onto the model, and then we can move on to our next color. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a darker red. I think what we're going to use is a burnt red, and we're going to use this burnt red to do the mask, and then we want to do the vault symbol on the mask with an off-white. We're going to try to dot the eyes on the off-white because we're going to use speed paints later on to make it like a blue glow like it is in the game. And then once we do that, we should be able to start our glazing. Oh no, we have to put metallics. We have to dust metallics, and then we can do our glazing. Metallics go on all the metallic parts, so I mean that makes sense. But then we can start our glazing. Alright, so the next part, we are doing our glazes. We dusted some metallics on there. We did the white vault symbol on the mask, and we did the mask red. So now what we're going to do is we are going to use glazes. So how we do this is I use Gravelord Gray as like a basic like it's a speed paint, but I use Gravelord Gray as like a basic wash. And I do that on everything but skin tone and leathers. Skin tones, I don't like to usually hit that with anything because I like to build up from there. And with leathers, we use a leather brown. So we're going to use a leather brown speed paint to glaze over our leather brown paint that we put on. It'll make that brown pop. And then with everything else, we're going to use a Gravelord Gray. There is no skin tones here, so we are good to go. We left the hands in like a white because we want that to be a Gravelord Gray. You can paint your models with a Zenithal and speed paints, but I don't like to do that here. So I like to actually use them as a tool instead of just paints themselves. So let's go ahead, get our glazes on here, and while they are drying, we are going to paint the bases with a Rhinox hide so that they're getting started. And once they are fully dried, we can then start our highlight phase. We are now extremely close to the finish line, guys. So we can do our highlights now. We're going to take a fine brush and we are going to hit all the colors that we did previously, because now they're darkened down with the glazes. And then we're going to hit all the higher areas of those spots. So you want to do that with the reds, the tans, the blue, everything that light will hit. And then once we get that done, we can paint the rim black and then paint the name of the enemy, and the model will be done. And here are the different posed Marauders, completely finished and ready to hit the tabletop. I hope that today's video helped you out with painting up your Marauders for either Monster Fight Club's Borderlands or Bunkers and Badasses. If you know anybody that needs help painting, be sure to share these videos with them. This might push them in the direction of actually getting some paint onto their models if they're having like a hard time starting to paint. If you also liked this video or any of my other painting videos, be sure to leave this video a huge like. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed, it would be really appreciated if you did hit the subscribe button. We did surpass 800 subs now, and we are trying to reach that goal of 1K subs. And we are also almost to our 1000th video. Like, that is insane. And I already have a plan on what we are going to do for that video. So stay tuned for that. But yeah. As always, thank you guys for checking out today's video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.